Okay, so last week I was shooting a video on this phone here, the iPhone 13 mini, and it was an easy video for me to make, right? I'm coming from the 12 mini, and it's got simple upgrades to talk about. It's got a new camera system, it's got a bigger battery, it's got a faster processor. Simple video, right? And had a really cool thumbnail for it. But then something came up. So I've been playing a game on the Nintendo Switch called Pokemon Unite. It's this MOBA, kind of like League of Legends, but you're running Pokemon characters around. And it's fairly basic, right? There's not a lot of depth to the game. It's built for kids. It's pretty simple, but I liked the game. Partially because I love Pokemon, but also, more importantly, my kid loves Pokemon. And my kid loves this game. It's his favorite thing. So I had to get good at Pokemon Unite. Just so he could brag to all his friends about how his dad is the best gamer in the world. So for the past few months, I've just been grinding this game. Like no more Overwatch, no more Valorant, nothing. It's just been Pokemon Unite. And I've been grinding that competitive ladder to try to get to the top. And I've gotten reasonably close. But then on September 20th, it came out for the phones. iOS and Android both got it, and the first thing I did was just put it onto the iPhone mini, right? Because now I can play it everywhere. The thing is, it sucked on the mini. Like your thumbs take up most of the screen real estate, and it's just difficult to control your stuff on such a small device. And the battery drain while playing on a 13 mini was nasty. So I installed it on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Big screen, huge battery life, fantastic gaming experience, but this phone is big, it's clunky, it's chunky, it's a big, thick boy. It's unlike all the small phones that I normally use. But for the love of Pokemon and for the love of trying to impress my son by hitting masters in that stupid game, I stuck with it, put my SIM card in it, and I made this my phone. And I grew to just love the device. I didn't think I would because it's so unlike what I would normally want in a phone, but this is an awesome phone, even if you never play games. But I do think that the experience playing Pokemon on the phone is better than it is on the Switch, but we'll come back to that in a second. The real draw to this year's phones, I think, is in the battery life. So I ran the same tests as I did last year on the iPhone 12s, and the battery life on this year's devices are incredible, particularly with the Pro Max. Like this to me could be marketed as a 2-day battery. It legitimately was like 8-9 hours of screen on time comfortably. That's with everything going full tilt. And I feel like if you nursed it, you could probably get 10, maybe even 11 hours of screen on time. It is a weirdly big battery. I love it. The other thing is the camera system. So I'm not going to go too in depth on this because I feel like there's so many camera dedicated videos out there, but I do want to mention one thing. On the 13 mini and the 13 regular, like the two base level iPhone 13s, it has a tough time shooting things that are relatively close. I'm not talking about macro photography. I'm talking about like 3 to 4 inches away from the phone. It just can't focus on closer things like that. And remember, the 13 and the 13 mini do not have zooms, right? So you can't rely on that to punch in, and you just have a device that can't focus on things up close, and it's frustrating. Now, in terms of the Pro models, so the iPhone 13 Pro and the 13 Pro Max, those camera systems are a step up. It's mostly noticeable with the tough shots, particularly with the ultra-wide lens, and you can also do macro photos on the Pro devices this year. Now, a quick note on performance. So when it comes to iPhone performance, like year-on-year gains, it's usually hard to discern the difference outside of a benchmark, right? But I did notice that in Pokemon Unite, the iPhone 13s load the fastest, faster than any Snapdragon 888 Android phone, even unreleased phones that I tested. I mean, look at the loading bars here compared to everyone else. It's so fast. And that dude on the Blastoise, that guy needs a new phone. So it's very fast. Okay, if you noticed this whole video, I have not talked about the 120 Hertz screens, and I purposely left it out till now. So the 120 Hertz panel looks really nice. It's fast, it's fluid, and if you compare 120 Hertz panel to a 60 Hertz panel side by side, like in a store or something, most people are gonna think that the 120 Hertz panel looks significantly better. But it is a cool feature that I just feel people tire of. It's not, they don't tire of it. They get used to it quickly. And it's just, that's $1,000 hole you just burn in your pocket for a novelty. Now, I play a ton of PC games where high refresh screens are fantastic and make a big difference in how well you play. But when it comes to phones, even phone games, I just don't think it's necessary. Even for Pokemon Unite, that runs at 60 frames per second and had nothing to do with the refresh rate of the screen as to why I was able to play better. It's to do with the controls. On a Switch, if you use any of the aimed abilities, you have to use the thumbstick and it feels slow and clunky and there's no adjustment for sensitivity. But on the phones, it's a touch screen. It's fast, it's responsive, and it can make a really big difference if you're playing this game competitively. But it had nothing to do with the screen, at least the refresh rate of the screen, or the smaller notch. Just saying. The speakers on the 13s this year, they're slightly better than last year's iPhones. I like a higher frequency. If it's loud enough, it's just a cleaner sound. But the overall iPhone this year, it's improved, but I see this running commentary of like, nothing's changed. It's just like the iPhone 12. And Aesthetically, yeah, it's very similar, but if you think about the fundamentals of the phone, like what makes a phone good, right? Big battery that lasts long, a good screen, good camera, it's good. It's a nice improvement. But the thing that I found most interesting, and I never realized this until like just before I shot this video, the pricing for iPhones has not changed in 4 years. Like when the iPhone 10 first came out, that was a $999 phone. 4 years later, we're still looking at the same price. I'm not saying that Apple should have jacked up the price, not at all, but I feel like they would have, right? That's what you would expect Apple to do. They're good at making money. How come they haven't jacked up the price? Like the phones have gotten better every year, but the pricing hasn't changed. It's almost like the actuarial math guys at Apple figured out you can't price a phone more than $1,000 because then people stop buying it or something, because all the other Apple products are just going up in price and people are accepting of it, but not the phones, which is honestly a good thing because otherwise the industry would have just bumped up as well. But speaking of industry, because Apple stuck bigger batteries in their phone this year, heavier, longer battery life, I bet you the industry follows. This is accepted. If people are okay with this, it's the green light for all the other companies to do it as well. That's what I think. Okay, I gotta cut this video short so I can grind it out to masterclass. I gotta be the very best, like no one ever was.